The concept introduced by the heading, "The Birth of a National Symbol," refers to the inception and establishment of symbols, like the maple leaf, as key identifiers that embody the values and identity of a nation. In the case of Canada, the maple leaf has evolved over centuries from a simple botanical entity to a profound national symbol, representing unity, peace, and Canadian heritage. The significance of this development lies in how symbols like the maple leaf provide a visual and emotional anchor for national identity, cultivating a sense of belonging among citizens and distinguishing Canada on the global stage. One compelling example of the maple leaf's role in shaping Canada's identity is its appearance on the Canadian flag. Adopted in 1965, the red and white maple leaf flag replaced the red ensign to reflect a unified national identity. The design focused on Canada's natural beauty and the commonality among its people, bridging linguistic and cultural divides. Another illustration is the widespread use of the maple leaf in Canadian sports, where it features prominently on national team uniforms. This widespread visibility reaffirms its symbolic significance, fostering patriotism and pride during international competitions. Support for the maple leaf as a national symbol is substantial across Canada. Many view it as a representation of Canadian values such as tolerance and multiculturalism, qualities Canada is internationally recognized for. However, establishing a national symbol is not without its controversies. The decision to adopt the maple leaf flag in 1965 was met with opposition from those who favored Canada's colonial connections, represented by the Union Jack. Furthermore, alternative viewpoints argue that national symbols can sometimes oversimplify or obscure the diversity within a country, glossing over regional identities and Indigenous symbols that also hold deep significance. The adoption and embedding of the maple leaf in Canadian identity offer a foundation for exploring other national symbols, such as the beaver or the national anthem, and how they complement or contrast in the narrative of Canada's identity. These symbols collectively contribute to a larger conversation about what it means to be Canadian in a diverse and multicultural society. Understanding the birth and significance of national symbols like the maple leaf allows us to appreciate how they unify people, bridge historical divides, and foster a collective national ethos that continues to evolve in response to changing social and political landscapes. The maple leaf, a universally recognized icon, stands as a symbol of Canada's national identity. It is not just a botanical motif, but a representation of the country's values, culture, and heritage. The maple leaf's prominence began in the 18th century when it was adopted for military insignia and pressed into the heart of Canada's national flag in 1965. Its significance extends beyond mere aesthetics. It encapsulates the unity, resilience, and diversity of Canada. Through its imagery, the nation's bilingual and multicultural ethos is conveyed, fostering a shared sense of belonging among Canadians. The maple leaf's importance is vividly illustrated in two notable applications: its inclusion on the Canadian flag and its ubiquitous presence in sports. The adoption of the maple leaf in the national flag was a turning point in Canadian history, as it marked the country's autonomy from British colonial symbols, ushering in a distinctive Canadian identity. In sports, particularly hockey, the maple leaf is emblazoned on jerseys and merchandise, uniting Canadians under a common insignia at international events, such as the Olympics and the Stanley Cup. Sporting teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs have carried this symbol onto the global stage, fortifying its place in the collective consciousness. The emblem enjoys extensive support for its role in unifying Canadians, as many see it as a symbol encapsulating Canada's peaceful and tolerant society. However, alternative views and challenges exist regarding its potency and representation. Critics argue that focusing on the maple leaf overlooks significant Indigenous symbols that are equally, if not more, reflective of Canada's history and cultural fabric. There are also concerns that the emphasis on national symbols like the maple leaf may overshadow pressing social issues, such as reconciliation with Indigenous peoples and addressing systemic inequalities. Lastly, the maple leaf has, at times, been co-opted for commercial purposes, which can detract from its cultural significance. The maple leaf's influence extends into other dimensions of Canadian symbols, shaping how Canada is perceived internally and externally. It works synergistically with other national symbols, such as the beaver and the national anthem, weaving a comprehensive narrative of Canadian identity. Together, these symbols create a cohesive image of Canada that connects historical storylines with modern narratives of inclusion, reflecting progressive values while remaining rooted in tradition. Thus, the maple leaf is not only a leaf, but a legacy, crucial in defining and perpetuating Canada's national identity and unity. The historical development of Canadian symbols is a fascinating exploration of how national emblems, like the iconic maple leaf, the beaver, and even the Canadian flag, have evolved over time to reflect the diverse cultural heritage and collective identity of Canada. These symbols are not merely decorative, they serve as powerful markers of national identity, representing the country's history, values, and dreams. The significance of understanding the evolution of these symbols lies in their ability to unify a vastly diverse population and communicate a sense of shared belonging, both within the nation and to the world. Take the maple leaf, for example. Its journey from a simple emblem to the centerpiece of the national flag in 1965 highlights its profound connection to Canadian identity. Originally used by Indigenous peoples and later by French settlers, the maple leaf became a symbol of Canadian autonomy and natural beauty. Similarly, the beaver, once merely a target of the fur trade, was designated an official national symbol in the 1970s, acknowledging its pivotal role in the economic foundation of early Canada. These examples illustrate how symbols are deeply intertwined with Canada's historical narrative, encapsulating its natural resources and cultural evolution. Supporters of these symbols argue that they engender national pride and cultural unity. The sheer act of rallying around a flag or endorsing a national animal fosters a collective consciousness that transcends regional and cultural differences. However, the development of these symbols has not been without controversy. The process of choosing national icons has sometimes sparked debate, reflecting deeper tensions within the country. The adoption of the maple leaf flag, for instance, was initially met with skepticism by those who viewed it as a break from Canada's British colonial ties. Moreover, Canada's Indigenous symbols and their incorporation into the national identity raise questions about inclusivity and historical representation. Despite these challenges, national symbols continue to play an integral role in shaping Canadian identity. They influence other aspects of the nation's cultural and political life by becoming central themes in art, literature, and policy discussions, thus continuously molding the country's narrative. These symbols act as bridges, linking the past with the present and helping to navigate the complex interplay between tradition and modernity in the ever-evolving landscape of Canadian identity. Through their historical development, Canadian symbols underscore a commitment to unity, continuity, and the celebration of a multifaceted national heritage. The heading Maple Leaf Legacy: How Canada's National Symbols Shaped Its Identity invites exploration into how symbols like the maple leaf play a crucial role in forming Canada's national identity. The maple leaf, prominently featured on Canada's flag, serves as a clear representation of Canadian heritage, values, and unity. This national symbol is more than just a botanical element. It embodies the historical and cultural evolution of Canada, representing the country's commitment to diversity, nature, and peace. The significance of the maple leaf in Canada's identity is profound. It is a unifying emblem that resonates with Canadians and speaks to shared national experiences. Historically, Canadian soldiers wore the maple leaf in World War I, which helped foster a sense of collective identity and pride. Its simplicity yet profound presence on the national flag captures the essence of Canada as a nation that values inclusivity, respect, and natural beauty. One example of the maple leaf's significance is during international sports events, where Canadian athletes and fans alike rally under the flag to express national solidarity and pride. Another example is how the maple leaf is utilized by various Canadian businesses, such as Air Canada, subliminally associating their services with Canadian values and strengthening brand identity with national pride. Supporters argue that national symbols like the maple leaf are vital for cultivating a strong sense of identity, providing citizens with a common point of reference that transcends linguistic and regional differences. This is particularly critical in a country as diverse as Canada, where there is a need to celebrate and unify a mosaic of cultures under a cohesive national narrative. However, the use of the maple leaf and other symbols is not without challenges. Some critics suggest that symbols can oversimplify the complex and multifaceted nature of national identity, potentially neglecting minority narratives or overlooking regional nuances. Additionally, there is an ongoing debate about whether the heavy reliance on symbols like the maple leaf can inadvertently overshadow pressing contemporary issues such as Indigenous rights and environmental concerns. In the broader context of Canada's national identity, the maple leaf acts as a bridge between historical heritage and modern values. It influences other aspects of identity, such as multiculturalism and bilingualism, by providing a platform for unity while honoring diversity. In essence, the maple leaf is both a timeless icon and a dynamic participant in the ongoing dialogue about what it means to be Canadian, continuously shaping and reflecting the nation's evolving identity.